I still remember the sound of the front door clicking shut that night. Not slamming, not banging, just closing softly like a whisper that said everything is over. Mark didn't yell. He didn't curse. He didn't demand an explanation. He simply walked out of the bedroom, grabbed his jacket, and left me standing there with a sick feeling crawling up my throat. I didn't even realize the moment my marriage had died was that night at Emily's birthday party. The party that changed everything. The house was packed with people I barely knew. Emily's co-workers, her cousins, a few faces I'd seen in passing. The music was loud, the drinks were stronger than they should have been, and Mark. Well, he wasn't really the partying type. He came with me out of love, I knew that. He hated the noise, the pointless chatter, but he smiled through it. Always did. I, on the other hand, had been restless for weeks. Our marriage had fallen into a routine. Work, dinner, Netflix, sleep, repeat. Mark was steady, dependable, the kind of man who always paid the bills on time and remembered to buy flowers on anniversaries. But lately I'd been craving something else. Attention, excitement, a spark. So when Daniel, Emily's charming and slightly reckless cousin, pulled me into the crowd with a fresh glass of wine, I didn't resist. I laughed louder. I drank faster. And somewhere between the fourth and fifth glass, I found myself sitting on his lap as people cheered us on, their phones flashing like paparazzi. It was a stupid, drunk moment. A game of truth or dare gone too far. Then someone joked, "So, Lisa, how's married life? Still as boring as your husband's taste in music?" No. I made the worst mistake of my life. I laughed loudly. I rolled my eyes and said, "Let's just say, Daniel's chair is a lot more fun than my husband's bed." The group roared with laughter. Someone clinked their glass. Daniel smirked. I felt powerful in that moment. Wanted. What I didn't know was that Mark had just stepped out of the kitchen, holding a plate of appetizers he'd picked for me because he knew I hadn't eaten. He heard every word. The quiet before the storm. The next morning, Mark was unusually quiet. No cold shoulder, no angry questions. Just quiet. He kissed my forehead before leaving for work like always, but his eyes didn't linger. That week I noticed small changes. He stopped leaving his phone on the counter. He stopped asking how my day was. At night, he lay on his side of the bed, scrolling endlessly, while I stared at the ceiling, my chest tight with unspoken guilt. I thought about apologizing. I almost did 100 times. But every time I opened my mouth, fear stopped me. What if he didn't know? What if he didn't care? What if it was just a joke to him, too? Then one evening, 3 weeks later, I came home to find a single sheet of paper on the dining table. Divorce petition. No fight. No warning. Just a signature line. The unraveling. Called him. He didn't answer. I texted him. "Mark, can we talk?" No reply. I drove to his office. His secretary told me he'd left early. When I returned home, half his clothes were gone. The drawer where he kept his watch, empty. His toothbrush gone. Even the framed photo of us at the beach 2 summers ago. Missing. Panic clawed at my throat. When he finally responded 2 days later, it wasn't what I expected. "Lisa, I don't hate you. I'm just done." That was it. No details. No accusations. Just finality. Evidence. It wasn't until Emily called me, voice trembling, that I realized how deep this had gone. "Lisa. Someone sent Mark the video," she whispered. Froze. "What video?" "The one from the party. Of you, on Daniel's lap. And what you said." My heart dropped into my stomach. "Oh my God." Emily was crying now. "It wasn't me, I swear. I think someone posted it in the group chat, and Mark must have seen it." That's when the pieces fell together. His silence. His absence. The cold but composed decision to leave. He hadn't confronted me because he didn't need to. The video said it all. The confrontation. I found him a week later at his brother's house. He opened the door, looked at me with those tired, sad eyes and said, "You shouldn't be here." "Please, Mark," I whispered, my voice breaking. It wasn't what it looked like. I was drunk. I was stupid. He stepped aside, let me in, but didn't sit. You think it's just about the lap, Lisa? His voice was calm, too calm. It's about the words. About how easy it was for you to humiliate me in front of strangers. I didn't mean it, I said quickly, tears streaming now. You know I didn't. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and said the words that cut deeper than anything. I used to know. Now I'm not sure who you are. A divorce. I fought it at first. I begged, pleaded, promised therapy, promised to quit drinking, promised to make it right. But Mark had already made up his mind. He didn't want revenge. He didn't scream at me in court. He didn't smear my name among our friends. He just left, cleanly, quietly. When the divorce was finalized, he didn't even ask for spousal support or property. He just wanted out. The day I signed the papers, he shook my hand. Not like a lover. Not even like a friend. Like a stranger settling a debt. It's been 6 months now. I still see him sometimes. At the grocery store, walking his dog, looking lighter somehow. There's a softness in his face now that I never gave him when we were together. Me. I'm still in the same apartment, the same job, the same city. But everything feels heavier. People always imagine betrayal as a fiery explosion. Shouting matches, slamming doors, dramatic ultimatums. But the truth, it's quiet. It's a slow, cold ache that doesn't leave your bones. I scroll through our old photos sometimes. His goofy smile, the way his hand always reached for mine. I wonder when I started taking that for granted. Was it the routine I complained about? Or was it me, chasing validation from strangers instead of appreciating the man who showed up for me every single day? The letter he left. Last week, I found a letter in one of my old cookbooks. His handwriting. Lisa. I wanted to say goodbye properly, but I think words would have only made things messier. You made a choice that night. Maybe not consciously, maybe not soberly. But it showed me something I can't unsee. I don't hate you. In a strange way. I hope you find what you were looking for when you climbed onto his lap. I just know now that it isn't me. Mark. I read it 3 times. My hands were shaking. There was no anger in it. Just truth. Just heartbreak turned into acceptance. What hurts most? It's not the divorce that hurts the most. It's not even the video or the whispers that followed. It's that he didn't fight. He didn't scream. He didn't give me a chance to hate him because he refused to hate me. He just let go. And now, every quiet night, every empty glass on the counter, every time my phone buzzes and it's not him, I wonder if that's the price of what I thought was harmless fun. The last time I saw him, a month ago, I saw him at a cafe with a woman. She was laughing, tucking her hair behind her ear. He looked at her the way he used to look at me. With patience, with warmth, with interest. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did and chose not to. I didn't approach. I didn't ruin his moment. I just sat in my car afterwards, hands gripping the wheel, whispering to myself, "You did this. You built this silence." People ask me if I regret it. That night. That joke. That chair. Regret isn't a big enough word. It's like saying the ocean is damp. I miss him. Not because I can't find another man, not because I'm lonely, but because I realize now that love isn't about sparks and loud moments. It's about the quiet ones. The ones you only miss when they're gone. And if there's one thing I've learned from losing him, it's this. Betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just whispers, and by the time you hear it, it's already too late.